Hello, welcome to Arcade Couch, first place to two friends to get game goods each and every Monday, usually at 6 a.m. However, we're recording at 7 p.m., 7:12 p.m. it is currently on Monday because, of course, it has been Summer Game Fest weekend. We've already put up a little bit of a bonus for State of Play, a little bit of a bonus for the actual Summer Games Fest show. But we're here, we're going to talk about Xbox and a few other showcases. My name's Bill Blight. Joining me, as always, Ashley Albee.
Hey, Dylan, excited to be here at the end of the busiest week in gaming.
It is indeed. I think you pair Summer Game Fest with the fact I'm trying to play Nintendo Switch 2. It's just there's too much going on, man. I can't.
How are you supposed to enjoy Mario Kart when you've got to watch?
I gotta watch all these fucking streams, and then I'm trying to play the Switch, and then I feel bad because there's all these demos to play, and Steam Next Fest starts on like month, and then there'll be more demos. There's not enough time. I don't know how. I don't know how you're supposed to do this.
And now you're not going to be good at Mario Kart anymore. Because I've seen like people have been figuring out the best routes to take through courses, doing shortcuts and flips and grinds.
Yep, I won that one knockout tour the other night with Buddy. Probably
that's not the evidence I saw online.
No. I won one, and then he won and beat me in the next one.
Yeah, you got any proof?
Yeah, I do. I got a video. You can see me win on our TikTok page.
Okay.
That video is a montage. It includes him pulling a Swifty on me and me winning as well. There's also a part where I tried to be a smart ass, like when I was hang gliding across this cliff and doing a bunch of tricks in the air and then completely fucked myself and ran into the wall. And I was like, well, that's funny.
Wait, I saw one TikTok. Like, is it true that you can aim your shells?
Yeah.
Like, if you move the camera.
I also saw that, and I haven't tried it yet. So
okay,
I only saw that like an hour or two ago when I was
like damn, that's
game lunch or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It seems odd, but because they literally, I don't know if it's the same one I saw, but they like literally look right, and then they throw the shell, and it's just like throws out the person next to them. Yeah, so I don't know. Crazy. If it is a game changer, yeah. But I mean, yeah, Mario Kart. It's all about the wall jumps now. Wall jumps, wall grinds.
Grinding makes it go faster or boost it.
It's not about racing. It's just grinding the wall jumping, yeah. So, yeah, good fun. I mean, you brought up Switch, so let's just there's a few things to cover. Obviously, if you want to hear our thoughts on the State of Play 2 episodes ago on this podcast too, if you want to hear our thoughts on Summer Game Fest, the main show, last episode on the feed. Today, kind of cover off some of my favorite games from some of the other showcases, and we're going to cover in full our thoughts on the Xbox showcase as the other major showcase, of course. But yeah, I mean, Switch, nowhere in a place to put overall thoughts on it. And again, like I've you could be like, I'm guaranteed someone at work's I go back to work tomorrow, after a few days of having the weekend off. They'll be like, oh, like, how's the Switch? You had the whole weekend to play. And I'm like, I've touched it for like 2 hours, like total across the, like it's just.
Who's at fault for this? I assume Jeff put the dates down first. Last year, right?
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, I don't, like, most people aren't devouring their entire weekend to these shows. And also, to be fair, the reason it has taken up so much of my time, Kieran's joining the podcast, very good.
Hello, everyone.
It's just so he knows where.
All right.
Make sure he's got pants on, you know what I mean?
Oh, God.
We're live.
We're live.
Oh, God. Oh, hello.
I was like, we'll start recording, and then he can join if he wants. You didn't even like open my message. Did you just see it pop up on your phone?
Yeah, I did. I went, oh, fuck.
Because I was staring at my message going, he hasn't even read it yet. Like,
I was like, I looked at it and went, oh, fuck.
Ash said maybe he's still asleep, so.
Maybe.
Well, that's right. We positioned I've just finished outlining the show where I said we'll talk about Xbox later. So I'm talking about Switch currently. So that works well. Yeah.
How's your weekend been with the Switch, Kieran?
Yep. Not getting one, so it's fine. It's all good.
Stayed strong the entire time, right?
Stayed strong the entire time.
No moments of doubt.
Oh, there were several moments of doubt. I guarantee that.
And they could still come.
Yeah. Definitely.
Was it the clip that I gave you about last week's episode?
That did help me. That did sway me the first time. It definitely swayed me the first time to be like, oh, I should just, stay strong.
I will say, so general impressions after probably like not even 10 hours of it yet. It is very much, it is, and this, I know people are going to take this as a negative because it's sort of hard not to take it that way, but it is basically just a Nintendo Switch Pro, but I'm okay with that. Like, I'm totally okay with that. This feels to me closer to what I felt going from the when we went from PS4 to PS5 than PS3 to PS4, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I remember playing the PS5 and going, I can see and feel the upgrades and stuff like that, but it didn't feel like a huge generational leap when I was sitting there playing some games the first time. This is how this feels to me. Every little detail to the point that, even as it's like the UI looks the same, but it runs so much smoother, like it's like the Nintendo store slightly updated, but now it works. Like it's all these
now
all these like slight
now I can buy things.
yeah, all these little things that make it better. Obviously, I already talked about it because I played Mario Kart World already. How much fun that game is, isn't it? It's still a lot of fun. Obviously, me and Buddy were having a good time playing it the other night, and I'm going to keep playing that. And we'll probably be playing Mario Kart World on and off for the entirety of the Switch 2 life cycle, especially since they're going to do 10 years of DLC for this, probably like they did with the last one. So look forward to that. But outside of that, the only other games I dabbled in, I did a little bit of today. Well, actually, no. I finished Welcome Tour today, which is meh, unsurprisingly. I got to write a review for that, but I'll say this: I enjoyed surprisingly, I enjoyed the optional quiz stuff, like where it tells you all about the different parts of the Switch and like how they work. Because it goes from, of course, I know what a HDMI is and like the very, very basic stuff that might teach your parents some stuff, to by the time you get further in the game and they're like delving into like where they've placed the fans and like how it differs from the first console and why they did these decisions. I was finding a lot of that stuff quite interesting from a just behind the scenes of the console stuff, because you basically would go to these desks. It'll pop up like, I don't know, between a couple to 5-6 different little things you click on or walk up to, and it gives you information on the console, and then you have to go back to the person to do a quiz. And all of this is optional. You don't really have to do it to quote unquote beat the game. I enjoyed that a lot more than minigames. Minigames I just kind of got sick of, to be honest. I was like, yeah, it's fine. Like they're like, here's one where you can show you how to use. You can use both the Joy-Cons as mouses because we don't have the wheels game out yet. I'm like, okay, I don't really care. But yeah, obviously, I think if it didn't cost $15, you could speak a lot more positively about the game.
The shame is they should have taken a leaf out of Sony's book and like astrobotted it and just included it in the console.
Yeah, they should just put it on the console. Just that, because then any of the negatives are like, it's just a throw in. Like, and it does feel like a virtual guide through the history and also an introduction to the console. So yeah, it's an odd one.
Is it true you need accessories to complete it?
Yes and no. So technically, and this is why the only quick article I've put up about Switch so far is there's actually a cheat code that one of the people told me when I was like talking to them in the world that I'm sure people miss, because obviously you don't have to talk to everyone, but they like give you a hint that you can press Y button in front of some people in a certain like rhythm, and you can unlock the medals and skip mini games. So, but if you don't realize that, in some of the mini games you actually have to have some of the accessories to be able to play, like the camera and the Pro controller and stuff like that. So technically, you cannot play all the mini games without the accessories. However, if you want to like get the medals from those and skip them, you can technically skip all the mini games and cheese your way through them with the cheat code. So
Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome to speedrunning.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Somebody will do it.
And then only other two. So I played two other things quickly this afternoon. Once I finally got done with writing up the 10-hour article for the PC Gaming Showcase. Good Lord, that took me forever. I played some Pokemon. I'm shooketh.
Which
how
Pokemon?
Much better Scarlet. I'm shook how well this runs now. It is just locked 60. It is also like obviously here's the things that they can't just magically change. Visually, it's still the same sort of game, so it's a bit rough on the but I don't really care about that. It was always the technical aspect of it, like the pop in of Pokemon in the background stuff. The amount of times I just roamed around for like an hour or so, and I would just stop in huge fields and just pan the camera around and just see how many Pokemon the game was now able to like pop in the background and distance and see how far it was going without there being any single issue. And they weren't weirdly popping in and out every 2 seconds like they usually do in the base version of the game. I am very happy with and to be this is one of the games where they did a free patch. So launch day of Switch, they patched the game, and they've slightly like tweaked that one patch has like made it run so much better. Huge improvement. And honestly, spending an hour with it, I'm like, I just kind of wanted to keep playing it. I was having like a really good time. I wasn't getting annoyed with I was like hopping on my little my legendary motorbike Pokemon, and I'm just jumping around, like trying to make it drop frames and just spinning the camera around, and no, we're good. So very happy with that. And another thing I dove into is an actual Nintendo Switch 2 game is the Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD remaster, I think is the full title. I don't know. Anyway, it's a Nintendo DS game. I remember playing the Nintendo DS game back when it released. I think I even have the collector's edition with a little statue of the main character and stuff like that. Good game. Enjoyed it back then. This version, which I did play at the Nintendo Switch Experience thing in Melbourne, was good. I'm having a great time with this. It's a very enjoyable JRPG, but it looks stunning. I think the like keeping the art style but making like up-resing all the elements. Like even at the start of the game, I'm just wandering around going, man, this is a beautiful little diorama video game that I'm playing on my TV right now. I'm playing all these docked so far. I haven't really fucked around in handheld mode yet, is the other thing. But yeah, I'm just like really enjoying that. And they've added voice acting to every single part of the game, to all the characters. And I was happily just leaving that on autoplay so the characters were the cutscenes were playing out, and it's very good. The music's great. Yeah, keen to keep playing that as well. So that's my Nintendo Switch journey so far. Any questions on the Switch?
Cool. It seems to be what it was on the box, like it was
shock.
Yeah, no surprises.
Yeah, I think it's better or worse than what we thought it was. It wasn't going to be the revolutionary thing that we were expecting. I don't know. I think it'll be one of those things that anybody who purchases one is going to purchasing it wanting to reflect 12 months' time to be like, has there been enough games released on this specifically for it to be worth the buy?
It's definitely an old launch lineup, but I feel like anyone buying it should like know what they're getting into. Sort of with Mario World obviously being the.
I can't imagine the price of the console going down at any point. And Mario,
I'm sure it'll go on sale.
The Mario Kart bundle is a limited thing too, right?
Apparently, yeah.
So depends. Do you want to save those few extra dollars on Mario Kart that you might not be able to
I don't
save later?
Not think it's.
Well, they just announced a Mario Kart version for. I'm sorry, a Donkey Kong version for next month.
Could
potentially
just have a different bundle with each epic first party game.
Why not?
Here's a Kirby Air Riders bundle.
Yep. Drew's out there.
Drew
already has 4 Nintendo Switches by the end of the year. It's crazy.
Oh man, that video where he's showing all the accessories that he bought, crazy. Or even just the photo of him driving home.
Wild man.
Like
Wild man.
His front seat full of Nintendo stuff. Crazy.
That's crazy. He dropped his kid off and they had to leave him there to pick up all the Switch stuff. He couldn't fit the seat in anymore, so.
Yeah, so had to make 2 trips.
Yeah. Hey, a random EB Games person, can you watch my kid?
It's only a 3-hour drive. Round trip.
All right, before we get into Xbox, just quickly run down. I've just highlighted 2 games from each of the other showcases I just wanted to highlight. I will note a lot of these showcases, as I just said, the PC gaming showcase was very long, nearly 80 games in that, goes for 2.5 hours. There are a lot of games between all those showcases. Of course, if you just want to run through the trailers, they're all on explosionapp.com. so Day of the Debs, my shout outs are going to be Big Walk and Mixtape from this one. Big Walk, the Australian game from the developers of Untitled Goose Game.
There, right?
What?
Pick the 2 Australian games out of the showcase.
I can't help that the 2 Australian games look the best, man. Like, what can I say? But I mean, Big Walk is the follow-up to Untitled Goose Game, and they haven't done exactly the same thing as Goose Game. Instead, it's a game where you're wandering around to these weirdly odd creatures, and it's a game designed entirely around.
Is that the one where you can like see other people in the game?
Yeah, so you play with friends, but you're meant to use the in-game voice chat, not Discord or anything, because it's like proximity chat. And they also have done a lot of design around how the voices will work, including like you could get lost from your friends and then you're wandering along and you see them off the distance on a mountain and you've got a megaphone. So you can just be like, hey, I'm over here. And it looks pretty funny. It is a puzzle game. Like there's meant to be like places you can go where you got to like communicate to properly solve puzzles, but also like it's a game you could just wander around the bush and fuck around if you want. Like, like the trailer was pretty funny. You watched it? Didn't you?
I watched the trailer. It was pretty amusing and like just the showcasing of the use of proximity chat and like how you could hear the distance between people. And that kind of stuff, or like it would sound
like
different over radio, or
if you're like really close to someone, like it sounds like us now. But even if someone's like a little bit down, they've made sure it like sounds like they're making away, they're trying to make sure it sounds. Or the voice stuff looks really cool. And then Mixtape is obviously the next game from Beethoven Dinosaur, the team behind Artful Escape, which I really really loved. This just looks like a full on vibe. Great music, skateboarding, antics.
I feel like it's everything we wanted Bloom and Rage to be.
Yeah, I've seen people go like, "Oh, this game looks alright." I saw someone post on Blue Sky that they're like, "Oh no, it looks alright, but didn't we just have a few games like this?" I'm like, "Yeah, but none of those were really good." And this could be really good.
A lot of those had like a mystery element to it. This one just seems like kids chilling.
Well, just kids.
My problem with Bloom and Rage was like the random videographer mechanic in it, and I was like, I don't care to engage in this whatsoever.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
So
I think this was a big hit at SGF, like the actual, or whatever they call the play days that they're doing. Jeff's event on site.
On site event. Yeah.
And they had like a box of Mixtape, but like it's designed to be a Nintendo 64 box. Very nostalgic.
Very cool. All right, so that's from that show, and then from Devolver Digital, I only have one game, obviously, which is Bowl and Pit, which fortunately I got sent a demo code for this before they announced the game. So
I believe this is the reason you haven't been playing the Nintendo Switch, right?
No, I was playing this before the Nintendo Switch. Thank you.
Okay.
They sent this code like last week, but I spent like three and a bit hours on this demo. I just couldn't stop playing it, and I had to separate myself with it, which is a good sign. So I was really disappointed when I was watching the Devolver stream and everyone in the comments was saying the game looked like trash, and I'm getting into it going, everyone be hyped. Everyone be hyped. But it's basically I feel like it's a hard game to describe. It's just more, I guess, when you're playing it, it's sort of vibe. But its main concept is that it's like a cross between a bowl breaking like Peggle type game and a roguelike, but you can pick like the demo has 3 characters in it, and they each start with like a different bowl, like baseball. They sort of shoot out, but you like as you start a level and like these things, the monsters are coming towards you, but you're not stuck down the bottom. You can actually use the left analog stick on your controller to move your character around, so you can get closer to the enemies when they're at the top of the screen, so your bowl doesn't have to be thrown as far, and sort of you're like constantly moving yourself around to like better center where you're like shooting out balls, but then also picking up XP that the enemies are dropping and stuff like that. And then as you level up, you get to pick from one of 3 new randomized balls, or upgrade one, or then if you defeat like little mini boss enemies, you unlock fusion elements that allow you to upgrade your balls and combine them into super balls and all these different things. So by the time you get to the end of the one stage that's in the demo, if you've got like you can have a good combination where it's like, you know, like fucking it's triggering lightning down here and fire over here, and then this other ball's like a ghost one that goes through everything and starts bouncing off the back of the line, and like there's just shit going off everywhere. And it's really, really good. But it hits that itch of you'll fail, or like the first couple times I died to the boss at the end, and then it's like you're just like, let me go again. Like, you just want to go back straight into it. And then in the town element, there's like between levels, there's a little like sim base building, sort of growing your village as you get resources and stuff like that as well. It's very cool. I'm keen for the full release. Yeah, I think a lot of people were disappointed Devolver only had one game. I will say the showcase where they announced this one game was quite funny. They didn't do it like they did it the Devolver way still. They had like an actor playing the developer. It was good. It was funny. All right, so wholesome showcase. 2 from this I'm going to shout out is a game called Vending Doken Cozy Kiosk. And then the other game is called Discounty. So the Vending Doken is out now. I haven't played it yet, but this is the standout one from me when I was playing it, because it is like a it's very Japanese sort of inspired, I guess, of all those fucking vending machines and stuff that you see in every like Persona and Yakuza game, whatever that you buy an energy drinks out of. Basically, it's like, imagine you're running those. You're building a vending machine empire. So it's you choose what to put in them, you build them up, you can decorate the little street and everything that's around them. And then it also has an element where you can just put it on like passive mode, and it starts playing like lo-fi tunes, and just you watch people come put stuff out of your vending machine and stuff like that in the background. You just let the game play it out that way instead of like skipping ahead in time. So I think that looks pretty cool. And then the other one, Discounty, is about managing a supermarket, where it just very much seems like your grandma's the secret overlord of like Woolworths or some shit. And then there's a bunch of stuff happening. There's a story happening in the background as well. But you've got to make deals also with farmers, and I think basically fuck them over to get better deals for your prices that you're going to be selling their stuff for at the supermarket. Has nice little art and everything like that. So yeah, that's cool. That one has a demo. Downloaded it, haven't played it yet, but it's out on the 21st of August. Women-led games showcase. So 2 games from this one is Grave Seasons and Void Martyrs. I'm just trying to get the fucking titles right. Yep, that's Void Martyrs. So Grave Seasons is a genre that I know we all love so much, but this is a slight twist on it. So it's a farming simulator, which I know we're all sick of to a degree. However, this one has a horror twist. So you're doing the regular farming sim stuff during the day. There's like a narrative playing out in the background, and like getting to know the people in the town and whatever else. However, there's a serial killer. There's a serial killer in the town at the same time. So between all the farming stuff, you got to try and figure out who's a serial killer as well. So I was like, you know what, that looks different enough for me. I'm in. And then Void Martyrs is a honestly, hold on, I'm just going to read that because it'll sound like I'm making it up. So synopsis: a grim, dark survival horror about a nun in a spacesuit. Scavenge amongst drifting space cathedrals. Balance your faithful survival and craft the tools of your salvation. So it's basically an isometric horror game where you're a nun instead of Isaac in Dead Space. Good shit.
Good shit.
Why are these women so scary?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's true. It's funny that I picked 2 horror games from the women-led showcase, you know? Yeah, so there you go. Good on you. What's my next showcase? I had notes here for Latin American showcase. So Shadow Syndicate is my first pick, and then Advanced Atlas is my second one. So Shadow Syndicate is a 1930s inspired detective game where you the whole world is made up of anthropomorphic animals as the characters. So you're a wolf and everything. I mean, look, I was getting wolf. It just makes me think of Wolf Among Us, obviously, because it's a detective thing and everyone's animals. It's nothing like that, but I thought it looked cool nonetheless. And then Avante Atlantis is a turn-based strategy game where it's like you're playing on this board, like it looks like a board game, but then when the battles break out, like little pieces will pop up out of it, like little 3D pieces, and there's little dice and everything that's coming up on the screen. It looks very cool. So from the Southeast Asian Games Showcase, which was the first time they've done one for this year, I'm going to go Coffee Talk Tokyo, which is the third Coffee Talk game, but this one's going to be set in Tokyo, so that just looks like Coffee Talk but in Tokyo. So cool.
You've done a real good job selling that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if you like
what
Coffee
else do you
Talk,
need to say?
It's Coffee Talk but in Tokyo. And then No Straight Roads 2 was announced, which I never got around to playing the first one, but I remember wanting to. And then when they revealed the second one, it just made me go, oh, I never played the first one. But the very brief teaser trailer they had for this sequel looked really cool. I don't know if you remember it. It's the game where there's like two characters with guitars, and it's like a third-person platforming adventure game. The first one came out a few years back. All right, so, and then we've got the Future Game Showcase, and my picks from this are going to be Call of the Elder Gods, and as I attempt to pronounce this, Eric Sholm, The Stolen Dream. So Call of the Elder Gods is the sequel to Call of the Wild? I think that's what it's called, isn't it? I think so. No, Call of the Sea. Call of the Sea.
Call of the Sea. Yeah.
Call of the Sea.
Call of the Sea is cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Call of the Sea, which I really, really liked, even though I forgot the title of it just then. But which was a Eldritch inspired puzzle game, narrative focused, had a great voice cast and everything like that. Call of the Elder Gods it's a sequel to that. I haven't looked into it too much how directly it ties into it and everything like that, but yeah, so keen to play that. There was one moment in the showcase where Yuri Lowenthal came out on stage and then announced this because he's voicing the lead character in it. So interrupted Laura Bailey and Matthew Mercer. How dare he? And then Eric Sholm, The Stolen Dream, which does have a demo out, and I haven't played it yet either, but the game is releasing on the 15th of July, so only a month away. But this is an isometric stealth game, but like heavily narrative focused, in which like you're playing as this girl and his brother's gone missing, and you basically got to explore the city to try and figure out what's happening, and it looks like she gets tied up in a bunch of events. Like what I was watching, the cutscene stuff in it looked good. The story intrigued me. The world looks highly detailed. Isometric stealth games are not a overly like stuffed genre, I don't think. So whenever one sort of comes on that looks good, it stands out. No, it's definitely no Souls-like. So that's that. And then honestly, the one I was struggling the most to pick from, just because Ash knows I'm a sucker for playing home base, was the Frosty Games Fest, which I just want to say they all look great. Go Australia.
But no, if you had to pick.
If I had to pick, I was trying to give. Right, so if I had to pick, I'll pick two that we haven't talked about before, because
first time we've seen them.
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like I'd seen these two before. Maybe I had and then completely forgot about them. But so I'll go Inkeep and End of Ember were two that I was like, that's like. So End of Ember comes from South Australia, Bad Plan Studios. It basically looks like The Binding of Isaac, but with, I don't know, like someone who's done too many drugs down there in South Australia. There's even
Checks
a moment, there's a moment in the trailer where like a Jeff Goldblum meme appears on the screen as well. I don't know, like honestly, it sort of also looks like Rick and Morty type stuff. But
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I thought that looked pretty cool, like both from a visual standpoint and also the gameplay styles. Obviously going for that Binding of Isaac stuff, which is people really like. And then Inkeep, where's that? Unless I get the dev down the bottom. So Inkeep comes from Boot Disc Games in Western Australia. This I thought was a funny little trailer where so you're playing as like you're playing as the Inkeep. And shockingly, I had to think about that. But you've got to like look after everyone that's coming through. You got to serve them, drinks and food and cook up the dishes and stuff like that. But they also like have a moment in the trailer where someone pisses you off, but then you go pickpocket them when they fall asleep later in the inn. Someone like comes in and some woman like comes and throws a whole thing of beer on your face at some stage in the trailer, and then by the end there's like a weird like cultic fucking pentagram on the ground. So I don't know what's going on, but that looked cool. So I'll go with that. But overall, I want to say, like, again, really, really cool to watch that Frosty Games Fest. Like, obviously, the first Australian one, and it was very funny to me. The chat was terrible because everyone just wanted Silk Song. It was driving me up the wall, actually, just because I was like, just shut the fuck up.
There's no chance. Guys, there's no chance it was going to be here. KV's got a little pull, but not that much.
Yeah. Just enjoy the show. And everyone's just screaming about fucking Silk Song. And then it got all the way to the end of the show. I think it was like as they're wrapping up, they're just about to do the last trailer. I saw someone write in the chat, I think it's called Frosty Games Fest because in Australia they're about to start winter. And then I banged my head so hard on the desk that I nearly knocked myself out. So that was good. But yeah, I mean, shout out to everyone that was involved in putting that together. I thought it was a really well put together showcase that had it was also one of those things where unlike the other showcases where sometimes I don't know a lot of the streamers and content creators that they bring on to introduce games and stuff. Every time someone popped up in this, I was like, oh, that's that person. Oh, that's that person. So, so that was cool. Shout outs to Australia. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're free, guys.
Shout outs.
Next year.
Did you have any? You haven't watched anything else really, Ash? I don't think. But have you seen any trailers for anything or anything that just before we get into Xbox?
No, I mean, I really want to catch up on Day of the Devs and probably run through the Frosty showcase. I was going to watch it before I had a screening on Sunday, but for some reason this screening decided we needed to hide all your. They wanted everybody put their phones in pouches before the screening, so I couldn't do it.
Right? Yeah.
So,
what, they think people are going to spoil the fucking movie that's based on an animated movie that's already out there?
The
Listen, the guy who was walking in the cinema before me was very salty and very upset about having to put his phone away. I can only assume something happened in a previous screening that I wasn't at.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to say I'm okay with this. They should do this with every media screening because from what I hear, the influencers are wild. So maybe this is a good idea, make them watch the movie instead of just fucking taking pictures and... I
mean, arguably every time you go into a cinema, it should be like this, but...
Well, yeah, you would think. You would think. All right.
This isn't the place to talk about that.
No, we'll talk about that one. What do you want to think? I will say also, again, Frosty Games Fest was really good. We're about to get into Xbox Showcase, and I'll ask your thoughts on that in 2 seconds. But
wait, isn't there like another 13 showcases for you to talk about?
Fuck no.
What about the PC game show? Do you want to talk about the best one in that?
Oh god, I forgot to pick stuff from that. No, just
nothing just automatically springs to mind, or is it all just a blur?
Yeah, just from the 80 fucking games. Yeah, sure. I'll pick 2 before we end the show.
Okay,
I'll come back to it. I will say though, if I had to pick the best showcase from this Summer Game Fest, and if I'm going to say Future Game Showcase, there's my pick.
With Matt and Laura, good hosts.
Yeah, they were good hosts. I thought it flowed well. I thought there was a good mix of trailers. It wasn't overly long. So if I had to pick the best one, it would be that one. So there's my pick. As someone who has to fucking watch all these things every year.
Have to.
If I don't, who will?
Nobody.
Thank you.
And it would be fine. I'm sure you did need to watch this Green Games showcase, right?
I didn't watch that one because I saw people tweeting about it or blue skying about it, and it looked like some dodgy ass shenanigans happening there. And I yeeted right out of that one. So I know what the hell. Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but I skipped that one. All right, let's get into it. So Xbox Game Showcase happened this morning. Me and Ash watched it live. Kieran slept through it. So let's get his thoughts first. Kieran, what did you think of the Xbox Game Showcase?
Maybe not surprisingly. Maybe once again we were expecting too much of them. We were maybe expecting this was the year Xbox would pull the trigger on a whole bunch of their game studios all at once, and they really didn't. Like there was a lot of good stuff in this. I just feel like, and I think this is a commentary on all of the showcases I've looked at this so far, like this year, they all had pacing issues, and they all kind of felt like everything we do have as a gaming industry at the moment is spread super thin across everything.
But what are your thoughts on Summer Games Fest this year?
Like Summer Games Fest as well. Like I feel like the actual show itself, like the Jeff Keighley show, I was very disappointed with. A lot of the games weren't for me. What there was for me was good enough, but I feel like, even stuff like, I feel like so many of these shows were affected by these side things. Like if Death Stranding didn't have a side event all to itself, that would probably have been a better section, because the section they chose for Summer Games Fest was awful, was really bad in terms of what you want to place in a show. Same thing for the Xbox showcase today. Having an out of world developer thing like afterwards, when you should have had that as a big meaty part of your Xbox showcase, I feel like it's doing yourself a disservice by like not having a big chunky meaty section of it being that content and saving that content. Yeah, I feel
Did you
like
watch the State of Play?
I watched bits and pieces. I never got to the end of the State of Play though.
Because this is a weird time where, for the first time in
That's crazy that you didn't get the end of the State of Play. That's where all the good stuff was.
Yeah, I know. I know.
For the first time in years, I feel like the State of Play is like PlayStation's actually better than the Xbox show in probably a couple of years.
And even with that, you described it as okay. Like when you were discussing.
Yeah, like it was a good show. But I mean the last few State of Plays, like for years, have been fairly okay. So to the point that as we started recording the video that of like me and Ash watching it, the video start. I don't think it's in the video. I cut it out and uploaded it just because it was still like a minute or two before the show started. But I'm like, yeah, looking forward to recording all this and just saying, oh, that was for fucking nothing. Like I was so ready just to to like get nothing. Like I'm so used to PlayStation letting me down, and that's why I killed our PlayStation podcast. So
we'll come back one day. It's just retired for now.
Ash, what do you think of the Xbox showcase?
I thought it was fine. Like I feel like they missed a massive opportunity. Like obviously, everything. I think I don't know. Obviously, the frustrating element of the show was like the constant barraging with world premiere and play this on Game Pass. We get it. We get the point. At this point, it's been 5-6 years since Game Pass started, right? Everything's on Game Pass. You don't need to remind us after every single trailer. You could just put like a little symbol in the corner. People will understand. Or just have it on the title screen when you show the title screen on Game Pass on day one. Blah blah blah. Like you could have saved like 15-20 minutes if you had all those. It feels like. I feel like they missed an opportunity to like kind of dominate the discussion for the weekend. If they had have shown one or two of their big hitters, that even just a trailer, I think they would have dominated the discussion and everybody would be pumped for the future of Xbox.
We were going into this, I think, collectively, and I feel like most people would have been like, oh, Summer Game Fest was a letdown this year, so all the good shit is going to be an Xbox.
Yeah, everything. They must have bought everything.
Yeah, Xbox must be holding the bag. Like they must be holding it all.
Which I feel like they did last year.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, Xbox definitely.
And this year it's like,
year, so.
I mean, there's some cool reveals, but then there's also games that have come out several years ago that are finally coming to Xbox that they're making such a massive deal about. It's like, and then to close on Call of Duty Black Ops,
and not even like a good Call of Duty trailer, like a very,
and then to troll everybody with Silksong. I mean, come on. I mean, that was pretty funny. You show teasers of Silksong, promoting your new handheld, but then you don't show anything else. Incredible.
Silksong really is the game I can't wait to come out at this point, just because I'm sick of
Silksong is like the equivalent of like what Kingdom Hearts 3 was a couple years ago.
It's going to come out.
People didn't expect that in every showcase. Is the thing. People go to every because Silksong's been in Nintendo, Xbox, and Summer Game Fest. People are like going everywhere of them PlayStation expecting it. So it's like it's just rules the everything.
I think You know how we did the story maybe a month or two ago about Silksong being at the Acme before PAX?
Yeah.
My money is definitely on that's going to be at PAX at Acme first before it releases. Now, before I was the other way around, but now I'm just like, it's not coming out before then.
I think it was September, was it? Without looking it up, like it starts.
No, it's like the week before. Oh no, yeah, September.
No, I think it runs through obviously, but I think it starts like a month before PAX, so it starts in like September. So yeah, because the question was, will Silksong be out before it's in that museum? So
yeah,
find out, I guess. I thought the showcase was okay. Like, I'd probably, we're probably around that 6 range. I'll say this for it. By the time it was finishing, I was not sick of it. And yet I think that was just, but also when it was finishing, I was going, oh, where's the
rest of it?
Where's the
also, we had like 2 hours
stuff
marked down for this. I'm like, it's been an hour. Like, they must be saving all the good stuff for the second hour.
Yeah.
This showcase.
No, second hour was just all Bethesda stuff and Ben Schwartz.
Which was good. Ben Schwartz, CEO of Bethesda.
Yeah, that was quite good.
Oh, Obsidian. Sorry.
Obsidian, yeah. Like the games here were like, as we're about to go through, like I think the games were decent and there's a lot of stuff here I liked and whatnot. But yeah, it's just for what we come to expect from Showcase, I don't feel like there was even one like, one like slightly bombastic moment. It was mostly just
something that would break into the mainstream.
It was smooth sailing, but could be worse. All right, so let's go for it. So it starts with Outer Worlds 2. We get a trailer for that, gameplay trailer. It shows off a lot of different combat in this shooting and whatever else. And then they did a deep dive later, which they broke down some of the funny buffs and debuffs and stuff that are in the game. Flaws and stuff like that. Game comes out October 29th. We all really, really liked the first game. Kieran, are you excited for Outer Worlds 2 in October?
100%. Like, even to the point where I've looked at it a couple of times in recent weeks to be like, hey, I should reinstall Outer Worlds 1 and play through it again before the game comes out. It's very weird. I was very confused by the release date because on Xbox Game Pass at the moment on the PC, there's actually a button that says you can pre-install the game.
Yeah, it's like 2 kilobytes usually when they let you do that.
Yeah, and it just kind of saves that space on your...
Yeah,
it basically installs a file. Anytime I've done it, I take it as like it's a couple kilobyte file that I think just triggers it to automatically download when So, Ash?
I mean, yeah, definitely keen. Like, I mean, the direct at the end kind of pushed me over even more exciting and like... Obviously, like it looks like they've put more focus into the combat. Like, obviously, that was like one of the weaker elements of the original game. It definitely seems like you don't need to have played the first game to play this one. It's going to be a completely
different
new story, kind of set several years after the events of the first game. So, I mean, none of the companions super stood out. Not that they had much focus on it, but the whole idea of this person trying to exploit these rifts for their own personal for capitalism, is funny. And the humor of Outer World seems to be there still. So, very keen.
Definitely found it very funny. What they call them, the debuff thing. What'd you say they were called again? The perks?
Flaws.
Flaws. There's the one that made me laugh the most when I was watching that. The post-show Outer Worlds 2 direct was one where they're like, was it like the buff is you're like really quiet when prone or something like that, but then
you can move quickly when you're prone, but when you stand up straight,
it makes it when you stand up
your knees
straight,
click,
your knees crack and make a massive sound that alerts everyone around you. So that's pretty funny. And I think
there's also a flaw that where if you stare at the sun too long, it like fucks up your vision. So then for the rest of the game, it's like you've got fucked up.
But I like how
the game.
The devs in the like commentaries they're talking about, they're like, it does this, and it makes the game very unplayable. It's like, great. Cool. So a lot of that stuff I thought was quite funny. All right, so the second trailer we got was High on Life 2. The Squanch game is getting a sequel. Weirdly, it wasn't something I would have picked, but sure. I mean, the first one was okay. Why not?
I mean, it's very surprising just because obviously Justin Roiland was such a big part of that game, and
he ain't going
I
to be
assume
voicing the guns.
he's not involved in this at all since he left the company.
Yeah.
So,
which is fine. I'm pretty sure they did DLC for the first one after what happened with him happened, and then they got someone else to voice the gun already. So, I think the precedent's sort of set there. You never played this, did you, Karen?
Yeah, I played the start of it. It was okay. It wasn't anything too over the top. Like, in many ways, it gave me the same vibes as like playing Duke Nukem 3, like for the first time, and be like, "Oh, Duke Nukem Forever, that was it." And be like, "Yeah, this is it." Yeah, that style of humor really isn't for me anymore. Like the Rick and Morty style is just not it.
That's fair. Then we got a trailer for Resonant: A Plague Tale Legacy. So this is a prequel that I found out later on today or earlier today, but after the showcase. It's apparently set 15 years before the first game. I am still yet to play either of the Plague Tale games as much as I want to. So I got nothing on this. Is there rats? I don't know. Anyway, it looked all right. Anyone else have anything? Because I don't think any of us have. Yeah,
no. I've dabbled with the first one. I never looked at the second one. So
they're on my list very high in that category of like if I had a pile backlog here of like backlog, like they constantly sit near they would be constantly like sort of at the top. Is the thing. Then we got the reveal of the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X, as Ash mentioned before. With the there's two consoles. I don't know if you missed that, Ash. There's two.
No, it's just for the funny hearing the naming convention.
Oh yeah. As Ash mentioned before, this reveal trailer for it heavily emphasized that Hollow Knight will be on it at launch date. So whenever this comes out, if they announce a release date for this, Hollow Knight has to come out before
all on that day.
Yeah. Look, it's very much just an Asus ROGger with, I think, obviously a little bit better specs in it because it's a newer release. By the time this comes out than their last release, it has like the Xbox grips built into it, like for ergonomics, which is good. But I do think if it has been fine-tuned by Xbox to run their games on it primarily, I do think you shouldn't be too surprised, I don't think, if you play the same game on this and compare it to like a normal ROGger that's still running a game for Xbox Game Pass. I do think it could potentially run better on this just because the console being more tuned for that.
Optimized for it, yeah.
Optimized, yeah. So, I don't know. Do you reckon this will do really well? What do we like?
Hard to say. Because the marketplace is like so chock full of these systems.
Full now, yeah.
Like,
what would be sick? And Microsoft would never do it, but also they're stupidly rich enough to do it. If they came out and said, "Hey," and with every purchase of the ROG, you get like a year of Game Pass for free, like that would be pretty fucking good. Like in the long run of it for customer sales compared to just your normal. Like I guess the thing is, what is your reason to purchase it over a normal? Like, ROG Ally.
I think it's just because it's Xbox is written on it.
Xbox, the grips, and then it's natively, it's like solely focused on Xbox, like primarily, I'm sure it's like there'll be an element of people who like collect everything. Xbox will buy it, and then it just depends, I guess, on how people want to play their games. Like, do they want to play it? Is there enough Xbox games that you want to play handheld?
I'll say, I guess as a very small example, I had someone message me today who I used to work with, because this must have popped up on their feed somewhere, and said, "Hey, what's the deal with this? I just saw it." And I replied and said, like, "Oh, it was only that." Well, they said, "Do you know anything about this? Like, I've got fucking inside information or something." And I replied and said, "Oh, it was only announced this morning. It's basically like a souped up version of this, but like for Xbox now linked back the other one." And they were like, "Oh, I hadn't seen those before." So I do think, like, if someone's like more like just narrow, like Xbox mainstream gaming, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
they don't walk in any big box store that's been selling this for the last 2 years.
This suddenly goes, ooh, so, I have one example already. So,
yeah. But it's not like a massive jump up from the specs of the current on the market Drogos, right?
Not from what I could see, but I haven't actually compared the specs. I just remember when they were reading them out on the video that I don't think they stood out as too drastically. Yeah.
Maybe
We shall see.
I mean, the cloud streaming thing will be a bigger deal probably elsewhere in the world. Obviously, it's not going to be hit as big here because of our internet. But if you can cloud stream your games to that device, that would probably be pretty great.
I will say at the end of the Outer Worlds segment, I don't know if you went to bed and watched the rest of it, Ash. Did you see how?
No.
When Ben was wrapping up and it was like transitioning into a grounded segment with the countdown like 30 seconds on, he started doing the whole like shouting at the device and then like saying, "This is an Xbox, this is an Xbox, this," and he brings out a toaster. It's like, this is not an Xbox. You cannot play an Xbox on this, but you can play the toast game where you take one piece of toast out and put it into the oven slot. But it is not an Xbox, and that's how the segment ended. I was like, fair. Good old Sonic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good for him.
I like the bit where you talked about, he's an expert in sequels.
Yeah, he is.
Sequelize everything.
Yeah. Then we got a trailer for Blood of the Dawnwalker, which was revealed a while ago, but we haven't seen for ages. So this is a vampire game, which you're a vampire that can walk in the day, and you're fighting back against the vampires because you're a good vampire. I think it's the general gist of it. It looks cool. I'm
Is
keen
it?
for this. I think so. What? You don't think so?
I didn't think they revealed Blade.
It's a good bit. Good bit. Great bit. Kieran, what do you think of this?
Once again, anything at the top are outstanding. Vampires are cool. I really enjoyed my time with V Rising in the genre, so I guess there's a place for it, but not something that's making me go out there and play it,
It'll be on Xbox Game Pass.
Whoa.
Then we got the reveal of Super Meat Boy 3D. I think this was probably one of the coolest announcements in the showcase, in my opinion. The game looks very cool. I thought, like, just taking the style of the classic Super Meat Boy game and transitioning that into a 3D world. I love how that they've still got the ghosts of all the times you die. You see sometimes through the trailer. I don't know if maybe you can turn it off or on, but I just love that that's still a thing even in this game. So looking forward to never finishing this because it'll be really fucking hard and it'll make you throw a controller across the room. So that's great. But it looks awesome, I think. Kieran, did you have any? Have you
I never
played
played Super Meat Boy growing up. Like, it wasn't really a thing. But it's one of those things where you look at it as a title and you go, "This is great for not just the developers, but for the industry that we are kind of furthering great IPs across the board. We're not just going to the well several times for the same fucking IPs over and over and over again."
Talking about going to the well over and over again, NetShot was Ninja Gaiden 4, where the dragon's dead in the sky, and I still don't really understand what's happening in this game. But anyway, it's coming out October 21st. That's cool. I still haven't played any. Well, no, that's a lie. I've played more than last time we talked about this because I did play a couple hours of the Ninja Gaiden 2 Black.
Whatever one they put out this year.
Whatever thing they put out on Xbox. I played a few hours of that and I was enjoying my time, but I wasn't definitely wasn't committed enough to see it through. But yeah. Then we got an announcement of Indiana Jones and Great Circles getting Order of the Giants DLC. I like this. I think this is cool. This is because you just haven't played it. So the in the game they do a big thing about giants. Like that's what the dude played by the late in Final Destination.
Tony Todd.
Thank you, Tony Todd. Like Tony Todd plays in the game is a giant, and there's like all these other people they call as giants, and they're like protectors of the thing that you're hunting in the game. So I like how the DLC is continuing to build upon the some of the narrative threads that's left within the core story, and it's not just like let's just do a a 2-hour quick Indiana Jones story, so still building upon it. And I really liked the Indiana Jones game, as talked about before. Like I was really surprised at how much I quite enjoyed that. And Troy Baker makes a really good Indiana Jones, so I'm keen to play some more. Then we got Beast of Reincarnation, originally revealed as Project Bloom a couple of years ago. Game Freak, the developers of Pokemon, they're making an action game. It looks pretty cool. I can't remember who I saw tweet it, but someone introduced shaders to Game Freak, which was a pretty
Game Freak, and it blew their mind.
Yeah. So
that'll be the annoying thing. If this game comes out and it's well developed, it is, a good product. It's going to be such a slap in the face to all Pokemon fans. I
don't feel like it, because the thing is, they're just limited by hardware. Is the problem? We got new hardware now, though, Kieran. As I'm saying, Pokemon Scarlet lines really fucking well. I'm telling you, man. Like,
oh, I know. I saw a video of the windmill comparison.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Is there a windmill comparison?
There's a windmill because the windmill
is it for the frames.
The windmill used to judder.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wouldn't spin, but
spin
now
properly.
It spins. Now it spins nicely.
Now it spins. That's how far we've come. So it's very good. But this looks cool. I mean, it doesn't look. I honestly feel like if it wasn't Game Freak, people wouldn't be as excited because it does look sort of like a generic action.
It doesn't
game.
look revolutionary in any sort of way.
No,
it just looks like a perfectly fine action game.
Yeah, but obviously having Game Freak involved makes everyone's ears pick up and be like, "Oh, I want to try their version of thing." So we then got a very deep dive into Clockwork Revolution, which I can't remember what date I said. I googled it while I was watching it with Ash, but what did I say? Like 2023, I think. No,
yes, I believe.
I don't know. I
believe 2023 was right.
So, it's been a few years since we had seen this game, so they give a huge, 6-minute gameplay trailer.
Maybe the longest thing we've seen all the.
Yeah. And I thought it looked really good. I will say, after showing something that long and then ending it with coming when it's ready or something, whatever the hell pops up again, I think that's disappointing because you're showing me this much of a game. I'm like, I'm expecting a release date, Like, but Kieran, what do you think of this game?
I think this game looks great. Like, I'm very much echoing your thoughts with it. Like, it is very strange to have that much of the game where it's like, oh, okay. This very much looks like this could come out at the end of the year. Get it on your Fantasy Critic, I think it could be, and then just no date. And I guess, sure, maybe as always, ready when it's ready. But it's in many ways, I think it's very, and maybe this is just because of the industry as a whole at the moment for consumers. Is like the end of this year is very weird, and that's mostly because of the void that GTA 6 left.
Someone can feel it. There's still time. Move some things around.
I mean, I'm sure we'll get to it again, but there's a couple of studio publishers that we don't know anything about what their plans are for the rest of the year, But yeah, I thought this looks really good. Obviously lengthy look. Obviously, there's a studio behind the Wasteland games and that kind of stuff. So, I guess it'll be interesting. Was there combat in this? I can't remember.
Yeah, there's
a little bit
combat and stuff.
Oh yeah, there's gun combat and then leveling up the guns and that kind of stuff. Looks interesting. Looks like a very interesting world. I like the character creation idea of this person believes they've robbed and there's giving an explanation of what the person looked like. That seems to be character creation. So. I mean, it looks like a world that'll be interesting to dive into. The humor was really cool. A lot of the characters are really weird. So, yeah, it's disappointing that it is likely still far away.
Then we got Grounded 2 announced. So somehow Obsidian is releasing 3 games this year. Of course, they've already released Avowed. They have Outer Wilds 2 coming out in October, and now Grounded 2 is coming out on July 29th in Xbox Game Preview as the first game did. I don't think any of us ever tried out Grounded.
I have friends that played Grounded and loved it. It was just never my cup of tea.
Yeah, it must have done well enough because sequel.
So. This is the same thing. We can say the same thing. It's just whatever it is with these Bethesda like MMOs or multiplayer games. You know, it's the same with fucking lesser extent Fallout 76, but like Elder Scrolls Online, like Grounded, they all have built communities that are working really well for them and supporting the game that makes that they're able to release expansions and release fucking like DLCs and sequels now. Yeah, exactly. Like, could you imagine, like, in 2025, in an Xbox showcase, if you had said to somebody when Fallout 76 released that, hey, they're still bringing out content for this game. This game still fucking lives. It wasn't just DOA and abandoned.
I would have believed it.
Like, I wouldn't have. Like, fuck.
At release, probably not. Everyone trashed it like super hardcore at release.
No, but you know, Bethesda's one of those studios that
it was like a year later when they put out that major update or whatever. The
Appalachians or whatever. Yeah.
Turned into more of a proper Fallout game that people wanted, or whatever the main pitch was. I will say, full points to Obsidian, because I think
they're carrying Xbox at the moment.
Well, yeah, they kind of are. I do think they're doing something right in, like, if we assume that Outer Worlds 2 is around the same length as the first, they're saying it's a bit bigger. But even then, like, that game can be beat in like 10 to 12 hours if you just like mainline the story. I'm pretty sure I did every side quest and spent like 25 to 30 hours in it, and did everything. And then, like, if you take that and they've applied that to like Avowed, which I really liked and everything, I do think there's something to be said for, let's create like those smaller RPG experiences, because they can now manage to make multiple games rather than, you know, if you go look at Bethesda Softworks, spending 16 years making an Elder Scrolls game that'll be fucking huge, I'm sure, but if people don't like it, you know, like, you spend so long making something, and I think that's also something that just can be said about the video game industry in the whole. People keep making if you spend all this time making these massive games and spend 10 years making them, like, is it really?
Also, it gives credence to, like, Microsoft made the right decision purchasing Bethesda, you know? Like,
it's carrying them, so
100%, right? It is doing the heavy work. Obsidian and Bethesda, sorry, for both of them. Like, it's I just hope that even though it's not been great for the industry as a whole, that like the studios all come together and build that solid foundation base.
In the earlier days of them purchasing both, we were like, how are these two going to work together? They make very similar games. And now years later, we're like, no, the difference is one spends forever.
Yeah, and one gets them out.
And one gets them out. That's the difference. So, then we got Chronos, the New Dawn, the new trailer for the Belieber Team game, which continues to just look very much like Dead Space to me, to be honest. But look cool. We then got an Elder Scrolls Online trailer. Follows a character with a little line thing. And then we got a trailer for Aphelion. New game from Don't Nod. Someone crash lands on some planet. They're looking for someone there. Looks cool. I'll repeat sort of what I said to Ash when we was doing a watch along. Something to the extent of basically, I'm impressed that Don't Nod continue to they genre change like at the flip of it. You know, you can't say they ever stick to the same shit. They just keep fucking around with different genres and game ideas. You know, like when you think they did a vampire game and then the Banishers, now this, and you know, like whatever the hell else they've been doing. So they just go do whatever they want. So
also, I found it incredibly amusing that it's in collaboration with the European Space Agency
or something. Yeah,
featuring a spaceship crashing into a planet.
Join.
Which is not what you want. Join.
Join up. Yeah.
It's not what you want, but this is realistic.
Yeah. Then we got a trailer for There Are No Ghosts at the Grand, which I definitely put in my top 3 trailers and reveals from the showcase. When it started, I really wasn't sure what it was into. You know, it starts with someone singing, and then we're using a gun to like move elements around in the house. I'm like, oh, maybe it's a house builder,
it's a hotel
game.
renovator.
Yeah, it's like a hotel renovator. But then the game continues and you're like sneaking into a house and then making references to the Wicker Man, and then suddenly there's like all this combat, and then like there's some weird shit happening in the village. There's a lot happening in this trailer. It kept changing it up. I'm very intrigued by this game, to be honest. So, Kieran, what do you think of this one?
It seems to it's these kinds of games that now capture my attention more and more. Growing older, like in terms of like there's a lot of mystery there, like no pun intended. Like it is. I love these games where there's multiple elements, multiple gameplay mechanics and designs for them. It's another exciting one, especially a game where I'm like, oh, I want to sit down and play that on my PC. And it's which is kind of this is even saying that like Xbox for me really is just a PC showcase nowadays. It's not really a console showcase.
I saw someone say something today that they reckon every showcase is now just a PC showcase, which kind of. Because even PlayStation Showcase had several PC games. So, Ash, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, very intriguing. Like the story that was kind of being told over the course of the trailer was really interesting. So, yeah. I mean, the art style's not going to blow you away, but
whoa,
yeah, it looks
throwing shade.
Not for me, for personally. Obviously, it's going for a distinct look, which I don't think is the prettiest, but definitely interesting.
We then got a quick trailer for Age of Mythology Retold Heavenly Spear DLC is coming out. Then we got this thing called Mudang, Two Hearts, where you're playing as like a special ops fucking wannabe Sam Fisher.
Definitely
and then
not
also,
Sam Fisher.
Yeah, and then also a K-pop star. So, sure. It's about all I have to say to that. Can't say I've seen that crossover of characters in anything before. It's just so wild when you watch a trailer. Every time it like switches between them, I'm like, it looks like someone's modded her character model into the actual game. Like, doesn't look like the character belongs there, but yeah, sure. And then speaking about our friend Fallout 76, Gone Fishon.
Fission.
Yeah,
there's fishing in the game now.
There's a fishing in the game. Thank you.
Fucking silence.
I'm glad you clarified that. Thank you. Then we then got a reveal of Planet of Lana 2 Children of the Leaf. It looks like more Planet of Lana, which I think is not a bad thing. I thought the first one was pretty good. It was only like a 4 to 6 hour experience. Played it on my ROG deck. So maybe play the sequel on the new and improved ROGO, you know what I mean? That's what I need. And by that I mean the Steam Deck. We then got a trailer for Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive, which is a solo leveling video game in which you and up to 3 other players in co-op can do raids. Ash, when I was watching this, said it's set during the first season. I'm not sure what gave that away. Is it just because of the powers?
Well, I just assumed it was... No, for the majority of it, I just assumed because, he doesn't have any necromancer powers.
Yeah.
But then some necromancy happens later in the trailer, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems weird to have 4-player co-op and you're all playing different versions somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
a little bit. Yeah.
If you got necromancer powers, why don't you just have... You can play as other ones of the necromancer's ghost things.
I guess the problem is, right, is with Solo Leveling,
everybody just wants to be Sungwoo.
No, but like you're always limited. You're always limited by the anime. Like you're always limited with where the anime is story wise. You can't go ahead of it because the studios developing it would never want you to go ahead of it. Like whoever's licensing it, they're never going to want you to go ahead of what's on the anime. So I think you're always restricted in that instance.
True. Then we got a trailer for Animo, which looks like someone else is attempting to do the Pokemon Power Worldy thing, but no guns.
Except they've got they know how copyright law works.
Yeah, they know the distinct things to avoid.
Yeah, they're like,
this is what Daddy Nintendo and Game Freak will come after you for.
Yeah, which it's fine. I mean, this looks like a lot cuter version of the concept. I do think there's there's something about creatures carrying guns that
Not adorable.
What?
Which one of these will shoot up a school? Like it's just
all of them.
Yeah, that's the problem. So none of these can though, So
yeah.
Then we got trailer for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4, the remaster remake of those games. Looks very, very good. Obviously, when they show a couple shots in the trailer of the original games compared to the way it looks in this version, and if you can't say a difference, you definitely need to go to Specsavers. But then at the end of the trailer, we get hold on. Firstly, Bam Margera's in the trailer after everyone was complaining and saying that it was really angry that he's not going to be in the game, but he is in the game. There we go. But then at the end of the trailer, we get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and also Doomguy are in the game.
Both very cool. Demo is out now on Xbox Game Pass, and for some people who have pre-ordered the game.
Yeah, you can get a pre-order or Xbox Game Pass, basically. Yeah. Yeah, so that looks cool. Keen for that. Keen to play that. Dive into that. At Fate's End, got a announced. This is the next game from the developer of Spiritfarer. I don't really know what's going on here. Just I wrote down here that it looks like a heavy on drama between siblings, because that's sort of all I was getting from the trailer. Cool art and vibes and everything else, but also a lot of swords just coming out of people's bodies, coming out of this woman's neck, coming out of people's backs in the trailer. Looks like it would probably hurt. But yeah, I'm keen. Don't really know what it's about, what's going on, but vibe check, like vibing. We will vibe. Then Gears of War Reloaded got a new trailer. The big thing for this is the confirmation. Hey, it's on PS5, and there'll be cross-play and cross-progression. So you can play with your friends on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, all play multiplayer together. I always think back to that one meme video someone did years and years and years ago about where he made like a fake copy of Gears of War on PS3, I think it was at the time. Did like a video of him recording, put it into his PS3, and edited it and made it look like it was playing, and it tricked a bunch of people on the internet. That guy's living now, like he made this happen.
He was just born too soon, he just was too early with it.
Yep.
He really was. I'm kidding. I feel like this is going to be this will be my Gears of War. This will be my first Gears of War game, is what this will be.
Excellent.
Yeah. I thought you'd like that, Karen.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Maybe should just wait for E-Day.
Nope. At least play the first one, because I think playing they're really smart to do this one first, because to re-release this first before E-Day, because this gives the great context for E-Day and a better understanding for it.
I don't know if I'll go on to play the other ones after this, but I will play this, and then at least I'll be...
They're surely going to do the rest of them.
Yeah, already, so... Persona 4 Revival / the Persona 4 remake was officially announced after all the rumors and stuff, so that was a point for, I think, Kieran. Very teaser trailer, though. Didn't show a lot, but...
Looks very nice. Looks very... At least compared to my brief memory of the brief couple hours I played on Vita. Good.
Running around.
It looks very good.
No dialogue though.
Yeah, well, they don't have dialogue.
So we still don't know if the voice actors are involved or not.
Yeah, they fired all the voice actors, so that's what I'm hearing on the street, Then we got our obligatory Sea of Thieves trailer, Season 17. Very good. Then we got the reveal of Invincible Versus, which is Robert Kirkman's Invincible fighting game, where it seems all the voice actors for the Prime Video series are voicing the characters in this fighting game. Ash, you're a big Invincible guy. Do you want to play this?
I mean, this is cool. I'm fully expecting it to go down the Mortal Kombat kind of route of... There'll be fatalities and blood and guts and everything, but this has definitely been overshadowed by the Marvel Tokon trailer from a few days ago. If that hadn't dropped, everybody would be super psyched about this. You know what I mean?
Is there enough characters in Invincible for this game?
I think so.
Ash said it has a deep roster.
Well, at least the comics have a very deep roster, even if it's characters who only show up for briefly, I mean, they could include the Guardians of the Globe that they have that all get killed off in the first episode.
Yeah, but surely they've only got
Spoilers.
so many Viltrumites they can make,
I think big Viltrumite villains, probably like at least 5 or 6 in the show so far. So, it's a wait and see. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how deep into the roster they go. Because we only got the Viltrumites, Invincible, Adam Eve, and Rex.
What's
Explode,
Seth Rogen's character? I hope he's in it.
Alan?
Yeah, I hope Alan's
Alan the alien.
Yeah.
Oh, he has to be. And then Seth Rogen just asking weird questions about Earth the whole time.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, that's what I just need that laugh.
I just need a laugh in there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate is coming to Xbox later this year, so you can finally play that. And then if you haven't got around to it yet, Final Fantasy 16 Shadow dropped on Xbox today as part of the showcase.
To buy,
sorry. Yes, to buy. Yeah. Like everything's on Game Pass apart from this, yeah.
Which is fair enough, right? Why hold it off for X amount of fucking time and then be like, we're just going to chuck it on Game Pass? Nah, get your money out of it. It's fair enough.
Yeah. And then move to the last 2 trailers. So first one was for Keeper, which is the brand new game from Double Fine. So very excited for this. Comes out October 17th. Looks like your typical sort of whimsical, weird oddity sort of thing that Double Fine creates. And I'm in a mind where I just wish Double Fine had games coming out like every year, like just regularly things. Just throw your weird, wonderful ideas at me. So I'm keen for this. I don't like when they get trapped in the making something for like 6 years. And then the final trailer was for Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which got a very weird trailer. It was so funny when I was watching back when we were watching it, and it gets to the end, and it's like the guy says like David Mason. I'm sitting here, and you see me like muttering to myself. I'm like, Mason, I know that name, Dave Mason. Oh, Call of Duty Black Ops, and I say it like probably 2 seconds before it comes up on the screen. Like took me nearly the entire fucking trailer to work out what the fuck it was. So main character is now played by Milo.
Yeah. The guy from Heroes.
There we go. Yeah, guy from Heroes. That's exactly what
that's interesting. 2 other actors have been added to the cast of Black Ops. Kiernan Shipka and Michael Rooker.
Okay.
Confirmed by Deadline.
Michael Rooker hasn't been in a Call of Duty game before. That's surprising.
I
really thought he would have been. But anyway. No release date, no like, hey, stay tuned for this month.
Apparently Michael Rooker is reprising his Black Ops 2 role of Mike Harper.
That makes more sense. I was like, surely he would have been. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Is this coming out this year or what?
I'd assume so, surely.
This has to be.
You would have thought it would have had a release date if it was coming out this year.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it was a teaser trailer, so.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the fact that it didn't end with like a 2025 or anything. It's just.
Yeah, just kind of.
Just ended.
Yeah, just ended, so. Don't know. They did have a couple flashes at the end of like zombies and stuff like that, so. But I mean, I would fully expect them to be like, hey, on August, whatever, we're doing a full Call of Duty Xbox showcase.
Still so far away, so I mean.
Yeah, don't know. Anyway, that's everything from the Xbox showcase. Anything else before we wrap up?
I mean, I think it's interesting. Like, obviously, we had the interstitials with Sarah, Matt, and Phil. And Phil closing, it was very weirdly put together because obviously you had you closed like 2026, we're going to have Fable, we're going to have some other big titles. And then we're going to have something that was here since the beginning.
He said Forza and Gears of War. I think it was the
Gears of War.
Technically, Call of Duty has been there since from the beginning on Xbox.
But the way we assume he was talking about Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But he could be talking about something else.
Yes.
I assume he's talking about Halo, right?
Potentially. The first game remastered and put on PlayStation.
Halo's
Nintendo Switch.
100% coming. Halo's 100% coming to PlayStation, and it's gonna
it's gonna
blow some people's heads.
The Halo collection. Just put all the games on the one disc.
Can I also just say before we wrap up, right? What the fuck, Ubisoft? What are you doing? Where
I mean, that's the question. Like, Ubisoft was nowhere. EA was nowhere.
Let's say Ubisoft.
What are those two studios doing?
Ubisoft had
Ubisoft
3 games in the
goal.
PC Gaming Showcase.
Ubisoft has the gall to tweet out a picture of Sam Fisher for nothing.
They did announce
nothing.
In the PC Gaming Showcase, they announced that the Rogue Prince of Persia's entering version 1.0 soon.
Yeah, and then it was Pax Romana, right? And then Anno. Anno's the other one.
And another like hack and slash game they're publishing.
Like,
that's
how
not internally
fucked
developed.
must Sands of Time be to be no? Like, to be absolutely.
Where was the Skull and Bones update? And what's he doing?
You know what? I'm
Where's
fine.
all this
If people want to have stuff to show, I'm down because I'm showcased out.
You'd think they'd be somewhere though. Ubisoft didn't have a hot flash year last year, so you don't think they'd be okay with,
I think they're just sitting
Where's
on
the Coke Media?
You're nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I will say the one showcase I didn't cover, that IO Interactive showcase
I watched that.
Was a mess.
I watched part. Oh, it was not presented well.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Konami Konami E3 showcases.
Which is like, that's the thing, right?
It definitely looked like they rented out a ballroom in some.
They did. It was in a ballroom.
Yeah.
The IO Interactive showcase is another one that fucked it. Because imagine if James Bond had been somebody's like massive reveal,
Well, State of Play got the James Bond thing. That's why
they got the reveal. So,
but it wasn't a reveal.
They provided a little bit more information.
It wasn't a reveal because we already know it was coming because they'd already announced the fucking name of it.
Yeah, but didn't know it was going to be there.
State of Play is the first time we saw the trial, and I mean, I know
it's the first time we saw Patrick Gibson as beloved James Bond. Known actor from The Tudors and The Ola and from Dexter Original Sin.
I just want
so many credits.
I just want to say, because you have dodged this so many times now, Kieran, because he had this bit lined up when we did our Summer Game Fest podcast, and he was like, "Oh, I'm disappointed Kieran's not here to hear this bit," and then he did the bit again the other day when you weren't here. So I guarantee he's like, "I have to get Kieran in on this my big joke about saying how he's such a known actor." Like,
yeah, look at all the credits. Been in the acting business for 10 years. There's a lot of big shows.
Fuck off. The other day, when
this is going to be the running bit until this game comes out.
He went to do the bit the other day, and he must have fucking closed his tab by accident. He goes, "The well-known actor Patrick Gibson, who's in Dexter." I was like, "You've closed your fucking tabs, haven't you?" Like,
yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. 4 points. Dylan, what are the two games from the PC Game Showcase?
Yeah. So first one, Millistona. Which is I don't really know what the game. I think it's a stealth game, but it's a game in which there's a giant policeman watching the town. And hold on, either the policeman's a giant or you're a small person, but you got to sneak around the town, and this dude's watching you. And it's wild. Just go look up some images of that. It looks insane. And then what was the other one? Wanderberg was the other one. So this is somewhere across. I'm calling it. A cross between, it reminded me of Vampire Survivors crossed with Howl's Moving Castle, which is a weird odd. But you play as a castle and you're moving around and you're fighting like other troops and other castles in what looks to be like a roguelike thing where like, I don't know if the castle's auto shooting. It looks like it is. That's why I was thinking Vampire Survivors. But you upgrade your castle and like build it out and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like a castle on wheels, and there's a part in the later in the trailer where it's got like little legs like Howl's Moving Castle and shit like that. Has like a really distinct bright art style and stuff like that. Looked very cool. So I'm keen for that. Comes out next year. Yeah. That'll be up your alley, Ash. I'll tell you right now. Okay. And another one thing I just want to say, because before we wrap up, because I forgot to mention it, I played the Baby Steps demo. Wild. What a wild game.
I was going to say I also played Dispatch. I played the Dispatch demo.
Oh, did yeah? Well,
that shit's going to be great. Like, that shit's so cool. Like, it is exactly.
How long's it down there?
So, demo was only maybe about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a normal demo, I think.
And it, like it's you get snippet of the character, but then like you get the core gameplay other than the overall Telltale system is this. You're sending different heroes to do different tasks around the area, but then during that section, all of the heroes are like on a comm link together and they're all talking to each other and talking to you, and like sometimes they'll like one of them will run off and go do something by himself and like ignore what you've ordered him to do, and like he'll start a fire or something and you have to deal with that at the same time. And there's a whole like the voice cast is really good. I'm really excited for it for its actual release, and I was surprised that we didn't get some because Dispatch wasn't on any of the shows, was it?
It's on the PC one, right?
Yeah, it was on the PC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know you wrote in our chat the other day that this trailer was out. I think they must have clicked publish a day early because in the PC gaming show, they played a trailer and said there's a trailer, a demo right now. So
yeah.
I've downloaded that. So hopefully get around to playing that as well amongst the fucking over a million demos. But so I did manage to play Baby Steps only because I'm really intrigued by this game for so long now. It is as funny as all the trailers are, and it's as frustrating, but in a fun way. I mean, I think I fell down a hill for about 30 seconds, and I just let it.
So how are you moving?
So the only controls in the game are you push forward on the analog stick to begin moving forward, and then you must press L2 and R2 or whatever your equivalent controller is to lift your left and right foot. So you've got to get a rhythm going between lifting. It took me a minute. I kept falling over at the start of the game because I like literally as soon as I press forward and I'll just face plant because I wasn't quite. But you basically got to hold forward and then like left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Yeah. And that's the game. You're walking, but the cutscenes are very funny. So the game starts with this dude. He's just a sloth. In fact, he's falling asleep on this couch. I think he's living at home with his parents. They're yelling at him. He's obviously a dude who's like 30 years old or whatever. So he's just a modern dude, to be honest. Because don't we all? The cost of living is what it is. But he's like, it's like they're trying to portray like a slothy fucking dude. Like he's got Netflix on the screen that says what he's been watching One Piece. And it says, "Are you still watching it? Do you press continue? Keep watching it, whatever." And he blinks out of existence and he like wakes up on this I don't know, this rural hill, but with no context. And there's a guy there that goes to talk to him, and I think attempts to explain what's happened to him, but he doesn't want to talk to anyone. He's like, this guy who's Australian is like, "Do you want to like just come over here? I'll help you." He's like, "No, I'm good." He's just being whipped out of his home into nowhere. He's like, "No, like if you just come with me, he's like, "No, I'll probably just I'm just probably just going to head out." And whatever, and he walk out this whole fucking cave at the start of the game, and he shows up again. He's like, "Oh, do you want any help?" He's like, "No, where's the toilet?" He's like, "I don't know where the toilet is," and stuff. He's like, "Well, do you want to come with me? I can get you some shoes." "Oh, no, I just I prefer shoes. I don't like shoes." So he just keeps every time someone attempts to help him, this character just doesn't want it. So that's good. And I don't really know what's going on, to be completely honest. There was another part later in the game where like I finished the demo and I click continue, and then another character popped back up and he's like going mountain climbing, and he says he's got a map, and he's like, "Do you want a map?" And your character's like, "Nah, I don't need maps. I'm just like, I'm good without maps. I'm just a professional climber." And then the dude like flashes the map in front of you for a split second, and you get a mini map on your like UI down the bottom for a split second where it has all these icons and like stuff like that. And he's like, "Yeah, no, I don't need that," and then like goes off. And it's a pretty wild game, and I'm very keen to play more of it. It's an oddity.
Yeah,
it's a special kind of oddity, I think. But yeah, I fall over a lot. But I think that's part of it. To be honest, I feel like you got to fall.
It's open world, right? Weirdly,
yeah.
I'm sure you can tell too much.
It was open world. I'm sure that they say when you finish the demo, they're like, there's you can find more secrets and stuff. But I'm like, I don't want to spend too long fucking around in a demo. I'll wait for the full game. But there's definitely like a dude I couldn't reach. Like this dude who's like, I can see he's got like a table set up with shoes on them, and I went to go get it, but that's what caused me to fall for 30 fucking seconds because I didn't realize there was like a slip of mud there. Anyway, yeah, Baby Steps comes out. We got the release date in the State of Play, comes out September 9th. So keen for that. Anyway, they'll do it for this week's episode of Arcade Couch. Let us know your impressions of any of the showcases and your favorite games. If you'd like, you can follow us on Blue Sky at ExplosionNetwork.com. Other social medias are either at Explosion Pod or at Explosion Network. And check out ExplosionNetwork.com for all the coverage of all the showcases with the trailers and stuff we have been talking about over there on the website. Until next week, have a good one. Goodbye.